It's only so long fake thugs can pretend. The mean mugging, the looking for the camera, calling yourself Bodega Cat, having merch. $50 million a year, and Carl Anthony Towns was on the bench for damn near the entire fourth quarter. All the celebs didn't matter. All the hoopla, all the buzz, all the plans for Mecca pep rallies, ticker tape parades coming down the Canyon of Heroes. It was all in play. It was supposed to happen. It was ordained to happen. The Knicks were finally in place to win, and win not just more than what they did last year. This is supposed to be the team that finally exiles the ghost, exorcises the demons of Knicks past. Yet they let the Pacers take not one but two at the crib as they go down 2-0, and they head off to the place that Spike Lee once incorrectly called the birthplace of the KKK. That's where Knicks tape now goes off to try to salvage whatever is left of their season. That's where OG Anunoby, that's where Mikal Bridges, that's where Josh Hart, that's where Deuce, that's where Mitch Rob all will try to help Jalen Brunson fight back from an 0-2 deficit. $50 million. And that man was on the bench for damn near the entirety of the fourth quarter. Someone make sense of it to me. Make sense of this to me. The defensive effort from Karl Anthony Towns tonight was deplorable. The lack of awareness, the lack of IQ was evident, was present. It was an eyesore for anyone who has played the game of basketball at any level. It was absolutely deplorable what Karl Anthony Towns displayed defensively tonight. He calls himself the best shooting big man in the history of the National Basketball Association. That should tell you exactly what type of time he's on. He only cares about the offense. And there was no greater example of that than the entirety of his performance this evening. A lot was made of Karl Anthony Towns coming to the Knicks. Jersey guy, local, celeb girlfriend. It was all supposed to happen. It was tailor-made for a storybook finish. They were treating this like it was nonfiction. This was going to happen. This was going to be truth. That Karl Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges and bringing back OG Anunoby, all these pieces were supposed to get the Knicks not only just over the hump, not just past Boston, but to get a Larry OB. Now they're staring down an 0-2 hole and have to go to Indiana. The Pacers move on to now 6-1 in the playoffs on the road this postseason. Hence the thumbnail for those on the YouTube side, Road Warriors. They are not for play. They are not afraid to go into your building and get dubs. Not only is this a referendum on Karl Anthony Towns, who gave you the box stats, the box stat stuffing. He gave you the type of box score in game one that made you ignore his defensive lapses. He could not get that off tonight. His defensive lapses were so poor that Tom Thibodeau didn't even care that he's allegedly the best shooting big man in history, and he set his big ass on the bench for damn near the entirety of the fourth quarter. Again, $50 million a year. And it only goes up from here, by the way. It only goes up. So you're stuck. You're on the hook for that contract. You better hope the Bucks come calling with a Giannis package so you can move off of Karl Anthony Towns. But anywho, let me go ahead and let the folk know that we out here. This is going to be one of them ones. I can already tell because understanding what this is and what happened tonight, it's more than just a box score. It's more than just trying to figure out, well, what was the schematic advantage? There wasn't any. Both teams played relatively the same this evening. There was no schematic changeup. Siakam said it in the post game on TNT. You know, they played a little bit harder. They focused a little bit more on defense. But in terms of scheme, there was no real difference. Apply pressure on Brunson. Try to get the rock out of his hands. Don't fall for him trying to be a foul merchant and earn his way. Make him earn his trips to the line. Let's go ahead and do a quick count. How many times did Brunson get to the free throw tonight? What do you have, 14 free throws in game one? Only 5 free throws for Jalen Brunson. Now, do you want to say that that's a concerted effort by the Pacers to avoid contact? Or is it the referees realizing how clear that it was in game one that they wanted the Knicks to be in a position to win that game? Because to me, that's what it was. Halliburton could drive to the rim and get hacked. They're not calling it. Brunson would come down and get breathed on a little bit too strongly, and he's shooting 2 free throws. That did not happen tonight. Only 5 free throws compared to 14 in game one. And if you're going to do the Knicks as a team, they only took 21 free throws. Both teams shot 21 free throws. That advantage was drastically different in game one. That advantage was between Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. They damn near out free throwed the Pacers by themselves. Tonight, it was equal across the board, 21 free throws apiece for each team. Karl Anthony Towns, 20 points in only 27 minutes because that man was making love to the bench. 27 minutes for someone that makes $50 million a year. 49.2 to be exact, but we round up 50 M's. And that man is sitting on the bench in the fourth quarter like he's Rudy Gobert. That's Rudy Gobert territory where you get benched in the fourth quarter despite your max salary. That's something that's deemed for the likes of Rudy Gobert, not Karl Anthony Towns. But because his defensive effort was so piss poor, the meniscus tearing taskmaster Tom Thibodeau had no choice but to bench that man. If you want to look at this right here as one example, and this is for the YouTube people, podcast people, just follow with me. So there was a play here early in the fourth quarter, tie game at 83. Simple pick and roll with TJ McConnell and I believe Miles Turner. Yes, Miles Turner. Let's watch in unison at the piss poor defensive effort from one Karl Anthony Towns. So you get the pick and roll, dribble handoff. McConnell now gets the screen from Miles Turner. Now, Karl Anthony Towns doesn't blitz the screen. He hedges. So hedging, you step up, you try to stop the momentum, and then you try to hustle back to cover your man, right? You see here, he tries to do that. Then he just simply gets hung out to dry and doesn't know where to go. His teammates are trying to rotate on his behalf because he took too long on the hedge. He took way too long in the hedge, and now he's out there in no man's land. Now he has to fight to recover. But where is he going to go? Is he going to stick on Shepard here at the top of the key? You see Shepard here. Is he going to stick to Shepard? No. Well, then he says, well, maybe I should because now he's got the ball. So understand, He only has one place to go. He should look and realize his teammates have picked him up and that they're trying to cover for him by leaving Miles Turner. So the automatic easy play is to go right to Shepard. Instead, he waits too long in the hedge, doesn't know where to go. Hedge gets the easy bounce pass. Now he gets the chance to line up because Karl Anthony Towns took so damn long, they now have to over rotate again. So they rotated once because Cat took too long. Now because he realized too late who he's supposed to guard, now they got to rotate again. And now that means there's a 2-on-1. You got to pick your poison. You're going to leave open Siakam, who killed you for 23 in the first half, or you're going to leave Miles Turner. Mitch Robb is stuck in the middle. He doesn't know where to go. Does he close out on Siakam, or does he stay in the lane and try to stop the rim run or just an easy dive from Miles Turner? I mean, if Turner even attempts to seal, it's a dunk there. But anyway, it's Miles Turner. He's a little zesty. It's okay. So Mitch Robb leaves, decides to close out on Siakam because Siakam was killing them the entire night, which leaves it for Miles Turner. All because Karl Anthony Towns had no idea where to go. Literally no idea where to go. And this isn't new to the meniscus tear and Taskmaster Tom Thibodeau. He had Cat in Minnesota. When you go and get a player like Karl Anthony Towns, this is the trade-off. He's going to give you a 30-piece and hit a bunch of threes and mean mug the camera, and it's going to look great in super slow-mo. He can do that one game. And then the next game, he's so bad defensively that you need to bench him. That is the Bodega Cat experience. That is what had Knicks fans throwing things at Brian Windhurst on the streets. That is what had Knicks fans beating up a Pacers fan for wearing a Tyrese Halliburton jersey. How does those Knicks fans feel now? They were outside the Mecca saying it's their year. We finally have the team. This is the group. These are the players. This is the coach. The front office is finally right. Everything is aligned. Dolan is staying away. He's not meddling. This is going to be the year. This is the moment. This is the time. We're going to seize this moment. You're down 2-0. Hard stop. And you can argue I had Knicks fans telling me I went too hard on them the other night. I had Knicks fans telling me I was blowing things out of proportion with the doom and gloom for the Knicks. Where are they now? My text is mighty quiet. My DMs are mighty quiet. A lot of energy after the last stream. The plus minus isn't always the most telling stat, but minus 19 for Karl Anthony Towns in game 2. I believe he was minus 15 in game 1. He follows that up with now a minus 19 in game 2. Piss poor defensive effort. And if you want to get deeper into it, Thibodeau was asked about how come Karl Anthony Towns sat out most of the fourth quarter. Quote, "We got in a hole in the group that was in there, gave us a chance." So the man that is bringing home a $50 million a year check did not give you a chance to win the game. That's pretty damning, especially when you have a lot more money left on the hook to pay this man. $49.2 million this year, $53.1 next year, $57 the year after that. And if he's somehow still on this roster in 2027, 2028, $61 million. And that man was benched in the fourth quarter of arguably the most important game of the year. The Knicks come back and tie this series up 1-1. You can almost say game 1 was a fluke. You could almost write that off. It was an anomaly. All the things that had to go right went right for the Pacers. Again, they had a 99.7 win probability. The Knicks, that is 99.7 win probability, and they found a way in the most Nick way possible for that 0.3 to happen. You could write that off, a statistical anomaly, if they win tonight. But instead, they follow it up with another dud in their most prized possession. I know Jalen Brunson is the fan favorite, and he makes people feel things because he's an undersized guy and unheralded, and his pops used to play there. There's a lot of stuff that make people believe in the mythology that people are building brick by brick of Jalen Brunson. However, the most important Nick is supposed to be Karl Anthony Towns. The most dangerous Nick, the most pivotal Nick, the most unstoppable Nick is supposed to be Karl Anthony Towns, and he was making love to that bench the whole fourth quarter. Couldn't be me. I couldn't be supporting a team like that. I don't know how you Knicks fans do it. I don't know how y'all keep doing it to yourselves. You keep setting yourselves up for failure every year. Every year is supposed to be the year. Every year is going to be different. Yet and still, you keep getting example after example after example. What's that thing they say about the definition of insanity? Insane. And if you want to get into just, plus minus is a thing, people don't really rock with that, but minus 20, I said 19. One site had it 19, Yahoo has it as minus 20. This whole starting lineup, if you want to crunch the numbers here, between Karl Anthony Towns and Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges, they were minus 37. Minus 37 between Hart, Cat, Bridges. Yes, I want that to marinate. A minus 37 at the crib. Again, Tibbs shortened his bench. He went 9 deep the other day. Pause. He only went 8 tonight. Campaign went out there, only got 10 minutes. Tibbs went, and the only adjustment he really made was shortening his rotation to only 7. He really just plays 7 players. I asked after game 1, is the adjustment going to be just players more? That did not happen. Jalen Brunson still has not played 40 minutes through 2 games. Karl Anthony Towns damn sure hasn't played 40 minutes through 2 games. And for the Pacers, we do have a shot chart. Let's see if we can get that shot chart. Let's bring up the Karl Anthony Towns shot chart. So if you look at it here, I'll need to bring that up on the fuller screen. Stand by. This is the Karl Anthony Towns shot chart. He's got that 1-3 in the corner. And then everything else is top, or deep in the paint. But this is through 3 quarters. Fourth quarter, only 1 shot. Literally only 1 shot. Let's see if we can find that. Karl Anthony Towns in the fourth quarter, 2 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 for 1 from the floor in 5 minutes and 25 seconds. 5 minutes and 25 seconds of gameplay in the fourth quarter. That's a whole lot of run for Mitch Robb, for some campaign. Then they try to go small, try to get Deuce out there. They tried every which way to avoid having Cat on the floor. And while Mitch Robb, we talked about the other night, Mitch Robb is good. It looks great. But because he's a liability with his free throw shooting, that's a dub that he's on the floor. Yes, he gets you some hustle plays, some hustle rebounds. It gets the fans involved. He gets extra opportunities. That's great. But because he's absolutely abysmal from the free throw line, it's a win-win. You get Cat off the floor because we know he's there to score, and he can do that. Now, you can get most of those points back on defense, but he can hurt you more offensively. Where Mitch Rob, he can hurt you defensively, he can hurt you with his effort. But because on offense, he's so limited, that kind of balances it out. And again, if you're looking at this from we talked about each time you can depend on Halliburton to get you at least 2 wins. When you have a player, when you have a true bona fide star player in any best of 7, you have to expect that that player can get you 2 wins by himself. Through 2 games, we still have not gotten a Halliburton game. Yes, we got a Halliburton moment with the step back and it bounced in the air and it hung in the air for all eternity. Then it came right down through the nylon. He had some moments in the OT as well. But that game, game 1, was more about Aaron Nesmith, who was 8 of 9 from 3, 2 of 3 from 3 tonight, by the way. So that's 10 of 12. He's only missed 2 threes through 2 games. He's made 10 threes through 2 games and only missed 2 threes through 2 games already. You still did not get a good Miles Turner game. 3 rebounds. He averages about 6-7. 16 points. That's roughly around his average. Especially the way that Karl Anthony Towns has been playing defense, Miles Turner should be doing a lot more. But be that as it may, it wasn't about him tonight. It wasn't a Miles Turner game. You did not get a second consecutive Aaron Nesmith game. It was not a Nembhard game. It was a Pascal Siakam game. And again, I mentioned to you all, the Knicks surrendered 5 unprotected first-round picks to get Mikal Bridges, and in a big spot. And again, in what likely will be the most important game of the Knicks season, Pascal Siakam, Swiss cheesed up, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, and whoever else dared get in front of him. He was able to leak out in transition. He hit the glass a little bit. Pascal Siakam was locked in from early on, and that's what it seems to be through 2 games. First 2 games, Tyrese Halliburton has struggled. I mean, shit, he had 0 points at halftime tonight. Halliburton is taking a little bit to warm up to get right. So somebody, one of the others that Shaq always talks about in terms of, you had me and Kobe, but you need the others. You need your Rick Foxes, your Derek Fishers, et cetera, et cetera. So when it comes to this, you have your Tyrese Halliburton. You have that. Who's going to be the others? Game 1, it was Aaron Nesmith. Tonight, it was Pascal Siakam. The others have given the Pacers 2 wins. Now, in theory, they just need Halliburton to get the next 2. But because the defense is so locked in on, we're not trying to let Halliburton get going. Like, he had the 30-piece in game 1, but he had to fight for every bucket. He was fighting for his bucket tonight, and they weren't falling again. Was 4 of 12 in game 1 from 3, 3 of 10 tonight. So 7 of 22 from 3 through 2 games. Not that good, okay? But again, you see the impact, 8 rebounds. You see the impact, 11 assists. You see the impact, only 1 turnover. That's what happens when you're the best player on the floor. Again, we could go to Jalen Brunson's numbers, and he looked good again. 36 points. Shot better from 3, 5 of 12, 13 of 27 overall. 11 assists. That's not something Jalen Brunson does a lot. 11 assists. But when you look at the fact of he has to work so hard and his footwork has to be perfect, everything has to work seamlessly for Jalen Brunson to get his shot off every single time. And between Mathurin, Naismith, Nembhard, Even Halliburton a little bit, even though Halliburton's not a good defender at all. Everyone's effort, Siakam on a couple of switches, and even Turner on those 1-5 pick and rolls, he was not getting switch cheesed up. It was still advantage Jalen Brunson, but he wasn't getting switch cheesed up. I will tell you who was getting switch cheesed up for the Pacers, and he should not get any more minutes the rest of this series, and he didn't get any more minutes after his short run in the first half. Thomas Bryant should not play the rest of this series. I don't care how long this series goes. Thomas Bryant has played his last minutes of this series if I'm Rick Carlisle. Thomas Bryant went out there. You see, he was a -9 in only 4.5 minutes. -9 in 4.5 minutes. He was discombobulated. He was like a worse cat. He looked out of place defensively. He didn't know what he was doing. He had no idea where to be on the floor. Thomas Bryant should not get not one more second in this series. When Tony Bradley's getting minutes, I think that's who should get some run game 3. He should be the first big off the bench, not no damn Thomas Bryant. He has played himself off the floor. But you're looking at the percentages. We talked about how the Pacers like to get them threes up. They actually took less threes in game 2 than game 1, but still they shot it at a 43% clip. They made over half of their field goals. They had some turnover problems in the first half. They kind of stymied that. They corrected that in the second half. A lot of the things that needed to go right for the Pacers to stave off, because the Knicks were out clearly trying to fight to get this done. Pacers went up early in the first quarter. Then the Knicks kind of battled back. They kind of settled down. They finally got into a rhythm. They seesawed their way back and forth. Knicks were up at half. They come out in the third quarter, a little bit more of a seesaw battle. But at certain times, you felt like it was just going to be a matter of time before the Knicks thing gets turned on like a switch. And then they go on and handle their business and even this thing up at 2. But Pascal Siakam would not let that happen. Would have loved to have seen that from Mikal Bridges. Would have loved to have seen that from OG. Would have loved to have seen that from Cat. Yet and still, it was Pascal Siakam. NBA champion Pascal Siakam, by the way. There's going to be so much made of what the Knicks need to adjust. And I said it the other night, and I'll say it again. There is no adjustment. This is who they are. This is what you have. Can the Knicks figure something out between now and whenever game 3 is to figure this out? When your $50 million player is on the ground looking like this, sprawled out, looking, he's not mean mugging here. Where's all the mean mugging? They had mans in super slow-mo, not 120 frames. It was damn near 240, 360 frames per second of him mean mugging. Where was it here? Does this look like the face of someone mean mugging? Does this look like someone who is going to take over a game? Does this look like the face of someone who has the wherewithal, the will, the pride to put a team, a franchise, a city on his back and carry him home? That is not the face of a man who could do that. That is not. That face right there, that face right there. No, absolutely not. Karl Anthony Towns, $50 million man, spit the bit. And unfortunately, the energy of how the Knicks lost the other night boosted me, right? Tonight was just more of a reserved, resigned, like, all right, Pacers did what they had to do. Because I was fully prepared to come on this stream tonight and be like, hey, look, Knicks, you did your job. After the demoralizing defeat of game 1, you found a way just to get a dub. It didn't matter how you got it done. You just needed the dub to get the taste of game 1 out of your mouth. Now, not only do you still have the taste of game 1 in your mouth, but now you got to deal with the even worse taste of losing in game 2. The fact that your $50 man got benched, the fact that he looked lost, he looked clueless defensively. And that's not going to change before game 3, by the way. This is who he is. This is exactly who Karl Anthony Towns Bodega Cat is. I mean, shit. Let's pull up his defensive rating. What is Karl Anthony Towns' defensive rating? If it's under 111 or 112, I'll be stunned. Absolutely stunned. Let's see. His defensive rating was a 110. Did Karl Anthony Towns look like someone with a 110 defensive rating tonight? The I find it crazy. I find it absolutely crazy what the Knicks did tonight. I find it absolutely insane, the lack of defensive effort. I find it absolutely deplorable the way that not only Carl Anthony Towns, but campaign. I mean, he only played 9 minutes, so I won't kill him that much. But in regards to Carl Anthony Towns being benched down the stretch, $50 million, $50 million. Bodega Cat, they got people wearing merch. The TikTok scammers were in the front row in the Mecca tonight. All the things were pointing towards a bounce back win to even up the series, to wipe the slate clean from what happened in game one. And not only did that not happen, but the Knicks put themselves in an even bigger hole, and there's no solve coming. Now, the Knicks may go on the road and win game three because it's do or die. The Knicks may go on to win game four and tie it up and bring it back to the Mecca, and now everyone's going to think the slate is clean. I'm here to tell you that it won't be. Because I have watched enough basketball in my life to know what I have seen over the first two games and what I have seen over this entire postseason. The Knicks are not winning this series. The Indiana Pacers are better than the New York Knicks. The Knicks have the names. The Pacers have the actual basketball players. And ultimately, that's the difference. You can have your stars. You can have your guys that you feel that are so good that you're willing to give up 5 unprotected first-round picks for. But ultimately, the Pacers have a better team, a deeper team, and a more well-rounded team. They have their star, someone that the Knicks could have taken in 2020, but they passed on for Obi Toppin. Now Obi Toppin helped kill them in OT, and Halliburton has been cooked in game one, had a rough night tonight, but still found a way to get 11 dimes. Knicks are in trouble. Knicks are in trouble. The T-Wolves are also in trouble. I think that series is over. I think they might be able to get it to 5. They'll be lucky to get it to 6. But the OKC Thunder will be in the NBA Finals. Who wants to go to Adam Silver's crib once it's clinched that his NBA Finals is going to be the Indiana Pacers versus the Oklahoma City Thunder? After all the stuff of Luka and LeBron, the Clippers in LA, the Boston Celtics, the New York Knicks, and your NBA Finals, even the Golden State Warriors to a lesser degree, but your NBA Finals is the Indiana Pacers versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. And again, the refs tried in game one. They tried to give it to the Knicks in game one. They couldn't get that done. The Pacers beat the refs and the Knicks tonight. The Pacers just had to beat the Knicks, and beat the Knicks they did. I go by the name of The Sam D. This has been the Sam D podcast. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. If you could hit that like button on your way out as we close out the stream. I will be here after game 3 for Knicks Pacers. We'll see how that goes. Trying to do live streams after every game in that series, and we'll see how far that goes. I don't know how many more streams I got. I mean, it might only be 2 more streams in this series. I don't know, but we shall see. Thank you for participating. Thank you for watching. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll go by the name of The Sam D. This has been the Sam D podcast. I'm out.